Good afternoon and welcome to Open Mic. We are here at a meet and greet, and you just never know what's going to happen. So we are having an impromptu interview. If you could please introduce yourself.
Good afternoon. My name is Vana Kerry. I represent Dade County Federal Credit Union, and I'm very happy to be here. These impromptu are my favorite.
Excellent. Not everybody can do it, Vanya.
Well, you got to stay ready is what I hear.
So, Vanya, tell us a little bit about yourself. Are you a Floridian? Are you from here?
Well, I actually came to Miami when I was 3 years old. I migrated from Honduras.
Okay.
That's where I was born. But I do consider myself a true Miamian.
Okay.
I grew up here. I went to school here. Miami High is where I graduated from. Yes, go Sting. I won't date myself, so I won't give you the year I graduated.
No, you don't have to.
And I did live in Chicago for a couple of years, but you can't really compare. I had to come back. Miami's where my heart is.
Yeah, I imagine after one of those cold winters, you wanted to come right back.
It's funny you say that. I caught pneumonia my very first winter, and I was like, okay, this life is not for me. I need the 2-second winter Miami has to offer.
There you go. I always say Miami doesn't have winter, it has fall and summer. Yeah. Only 2 seasons. Absolutely. We got a little bit of a break today, but anyway.
Yes, thank God.
So have you always been in the financial world?
Technically, a few years ago, not a few years ago, back in 2012, I started working at ADP at payroll, and numbers seem to be my thing. So in 2017, I started working at Dade County Federal, and I've grown into the business development role, which is my absolute favorite. I love speaking to people, getting to know different people, and finding ways for us to help them. Financial empowerment is very important, and it doesn't have the emphasis that it should.
I agree 100%. So do you see that certain groups of people, demographically, et cetera, have less knowledge of finances than others, or is it across the board?
Unfortunately, yes. There are some group of people that are not introduced to the financial world, and I'm going to include myself in that group because up until I started working at Dade County Federal Credit Union, I had no idea what a credit union was. And my knowledge on budgeting, saving, credit, management, all of that, it was unknown to me. Dade County Federal Credit Union believes in education and financial literacy. So we have this beautiful committee. It's called Gen U. And our mission is to go out to schools and educate children, teenagers, and young adults about financial literacy.
That is fantastic because that is not part of the courses that you learn in high school, even college, really. You learn a lot of theory. You might have a finance career, but you may not know how to balance your checkbook.
Exactly.
If you use a checkbook these days.
Well, they're out there, but you definitely don't get the education that you need with the traditional public school or even private school curriculum. That's just not an emphasis. So I see the value in that specific committee. And then in my position, aim to educate the community that, missed out when in their childhood or teenage years. It's never too late to learn,
I agree. And what have you seen as a result of these? Is it seminar style or how do you do it?
Well, we have different styles, right? We can either go into a classroom. We've partnered with some amazing teachers that see the value in this, and they invite us to go into their classrooms for about an hour. We provide them a couple of workshops throughout the school year, and the children really seem to enjoy it. I've actually had the pleasure of walking into a school and having a little girl point at me and say, "Oh, look, it's the financial literacy lady." I absolutely love it. And then as far as adults, I love seeing the transformation on people who are critically in debt, turn around and tell me, "Hey, you know what? That budgeting method you taught me really helped me. I'm on my way."
That's excellent. So it must give you that warm fuzzy inside when you hear things like that. It has to, I imagine.
Absolutely. It makes my job just that much worthwhile.
So if you could narrow it down to one thing, maybe I'll give you 2. The best thing about working at Dade County Federal Credit Union.
The culture is amazing. I have the best coworkers in the world. We come together, we all understand the mission, and we work together. And then secondly, I would say just our overall mission. We aim to be our community's primary financial institution, but we aim to do so through education.
Okay.
Because, it's great that you bank with us, but if you don't know what you're banking towards, then what are you doing, right? So that would be the two, I would say.
Okay, you got two.
I got two.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
And that's all the time we have. Thank you for tuning into Open Mic. We'll be back very, very soon. Good afternoon. We're back. We're back at Open Mic, and we are at a meet and greet where anything can happen. I was just thrown in here and asked to interview people, and my guest was basically the same thing. So with me today, I have Raquel Gonzalez from Dade County Federal Credit Union. Raquel, welcome to Open Mic. I'm sure this was not in your plans this afternoon, but I appreciate you sitting with me. Tell me a little bit about yourself.
Well, so I'm Raquel. So I do work at Dade County Federal Credit Union. I was born in Miami, so pretty much lived here most of my life. But
Okay.
I did live in Venezuela around 4 years.
Okay.
A little girl. But yeah, well, I would say definitely fully Miami.
Okay. Your parents are of Cuban descent? Venezuela?
Yes.
Okay. And where in Venezuela did you live?
In Maracaibo.
In Maracaibo.
So it's in the...
You're Maracucha.
Yeah. Yeah. We're special.
I know you're special.
Thank you.
So you went to school here, high school and all that?
Elementary.
Okay.
I actually went to EWF Stirrup. I went to middle school in Southwood, Miami. Yeah, Southwood. Middle school. And then for high school, I went to Coral Reef.
Okay. All right. So tell me a little bit about what you do for Dade County Federal Credit Union.
So I started working with Dade County Federal in around 2023, November 2023. And I worked as a loan officer. So I just started with, working with Vana and Michael around a little bit, like 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
Yeah. So now I'm in business development working with them.
Okay.
They're awesome.
So what is the difference between the two?
Well, I mean, two completely different worlds. Yeah.
Okay.
So when I was working in the loan department, I was helping, all kinds of members, non-members learn a little bit about loans. So consumer loans is what we're talking about.
Loans.
Specifically cars, credit cards, personal loans, lines of credit, all of that. So we would, assist members in finding the best product for them and then helping them. Well, especially me, I really enjoy being able to help people and understand what it is that would best fit them in the loan aspect. So that was definitely completely different from the business development where we are, face to faces with our community.
And what are some of the things you do in the business development world?
So in the business development world, so we speak to partners, we speak to our community face to face. Unlike in the loan department, I was mostly with them over the phone unless I was with them during car sale. So when we do our car sales every quarter, we do speak to them, at least the loan representatives, we do speak to them in person. But normally we're over the phone. In the business development, we're, face to face, speaking to our members all the time. I would say probably every day.
And you do it one-on-one, in group?
Yes, both. So sometimes, we speak to a group, we help them open accounts, speak to them about financial literacy all the time. So it just depends. We do both. We do groups, we do a one-on-one. We give them our contacts if they need any assistance with absolutely anything, their accounts, loans, a little bit of education here and there. We're always there.
So my mother-in-law, if I'm not mistaken, used to be, may she rest in peace, used to be a member. And she was a school teacher.
Okay.
Do you still have that connection with Dade County schools? Am I barking up the wrong tree or?
So I think that we might have some connections still in there. We could definitely look into it if anything, but I'm not quite sure.
Okay. Because I'm just curious because one of your branches in Kendall was where she used to go. So I don't know. I just thought it was the same thing, but maybe not.
I mean, we're always open to new members.
Okay.
And, if we haven't tapped into that, we definitely would love to work with new members of our community. But I believe that we do have some, a lot of our members are teachers.
Okay.
So we're never closed out to that opportunity of helping them and come into our,
So your 5 minutes of fame are over. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for being here with us on Open Mic, and we'll see you very soon. And here we go for our third segment of Open Mic. where just about anything can happen. My guest was just thrown into that seat, didn't know he was going to be interviewed, and I didn't know I was going to be doing interviews today. Anyway, love to do it. And with me is William Galves from Dade County Federal Credit Union. William, welcome to Open Mic.
Thank you.
I hope you're comfortable doing impromptu stuff. If not, too bad.
We were born ready.
Okay, good. I like that. So tell me a little bit about yourself.
All right. So I'm William Galves. I'm started working at Dade County Federal Credit Union probably. It's going to be 2 years now.
Okay.
Back in August 2023.
Okay.
I started at the main branch, and also I just transferred to business development.
Okay.
Like Raquel 2 weeks ago, technically.
Okay.
And I was in FSR.
What's that FSR?
Financial Service Representative.
Okay.
Helping our members opening accounts, doing application for loans.
Okay.
Anything that you could do inside the account, payroll deductions, bunch of things that we really do at Dade County Federal Credit Union to help out the members.
Okay. Excellent. So why did you make that transition to business development?
A little bit about my background.
Okay.
I come from the mortgage department. I went to Killian.
Okay.
Miami-Dade, Killian. I went into the loan departments kind of thing, like doing mortgages for helping out the community. And I got into helping out members at Dade County Federal Credit Union.
Okay.
When it comes to, again, open accounts, and I like to interact with people, like help out, be out there, and give a hand out.
And what have these 2 weeks been like for you?
Awesome, great. I have an awesome team.
How many are in your team?
9.
9 people, okay.
For now.
And Michael is the one that leads that team?
Yes, he's the director.
Okay. Excellent. So let me ask you this. Does Michael always wear a black suit, white shirt, and black tie?
Not really,
Okay.
not really. I've seen it around with different colors on it.
Because I haven't. I've always
You
seen
haven't?
him like that. Anyway,
He's a great guy.
He is a great guy.
Awesome leader.
And I just had to get that in because I thought he was a.
You had a question.
I thought he was one of the men in black or something. And maybe he is. I don't know. Maybe you don't even know that.
Well, we'll figure it out. We'll find out soon.
Okay. And what's your background? Where are you from originally?
I'm Cuban.
Okay. What part of Cuba?
Havana. Well,
Okay.
I'm a little bit mixed. I'm from Santa Clara, which is right on the middle of Cuba.
That's where my wife was from.
Okay. And I was born in Havana. Then I got here back in 2005.
Okay.
When I was 13,
Okay.
almost 14. I went to middle school for 1 year, then high school at Miami Killian. Went to college also.
Okay.
And then I just went ahead for mortgages and loans.
Okay. So what are you looking most forward to in this new role that you have?
Technically, my thing is help out.
Okay.
I want to be out there to provide services and anything that the members and the community, which is Miami-Dade County. I'm grateful to be part of Dade County Federal Credit Union, which is basically helping our members.
Okay. Great.
Giving a hand out and learning every day.
Excellent.
From the best.
Thank you, William. Thank you for joining us on Open Mic, and we'll be back soon. And we're back here on Open Mic, where anything goes, anything can happen. You come to a meet and greet at Community News, and you may get dragged in to do an interview. So that's what happened to my friend Rick Albertie here. He was out there just having a nice conversation with somebody, and I said, Rick, come on over here. How's it going, Rick?
Hey, if anything goes, that's kind of dangerous.
All
Okay,
right.
Carlos? So
Okay. All right.
it's going great, buddy. Thank you. How you doing?
I'm doing great.
Great to be here with you today.
Thank you. And thank you for being here. I only hear good things about ChamberSOUTH, especially since you took over and you guys are rocking and rolling. You've got new members every day. What changes have you made there?
You know, the changes that you've made, that I've made, is really just try to give customer service to our members. Is really just to reach out to our members and give them the recognition that they deserve, just like you do at Greater Kendall Business Association. You know, your members are truly the backbone of your organization. And I want to make sure that I recognize them and give them the support that they need anytime that I can.
Yeah, that's a great point, Rick, because you need to nurture your members. You need to keep them happy. You need to provide value. And I know you're doing all of that.
I appreciate that. I really do, because, you know, we're working hard. I just added 8 new board members to our board.
I saw a video of them getting sworn in.
Yep. We went from 13 board members now to 21 board members. And the reason why I did that was to add some additional programming, and the additional programming, additional committees. Why? To bring more value to what the membership of the member is. Some people think, just like when they join a business association or they join a chamber, okay, I joined, now all these people are going to come to our location. You and I both know that's not how it works.
Right.
If they don't put in their involvement, their part to be successful, they're still not going to get those people at their location. So they have to be involved, whether it be a small event, a luncheon, 1 or 2 events a month, but always be out there, because the face-to-face communication is probably one of the most important communications there is.
Yeah. I mean, I'm old school. I believe 100% in face-to-face. I don't think there's anything else that compares to that, because when you're on a Zoom or something else, you don't read body language. Things can be misinterpreted. So I agree with you 100% on that. Rick, one of the things that you and I have talked about, and we're going to make this happen.
I know we are.
Sooner
or later,
we're going to make this happen. We had a great event last night with Palmetto Bay and Pinecrest, and we want to do the same with you. And I like to say, we have to spread our wings a little bit, get to know other people, other organizations, see what they're all about, and help each other out.
There's no doubt. And you know what? You bring a good point up, because we just had a multi-BNI chapter with ChamberSOUTH at the AC Hotel. We had probably 175 people there.
Wow.
It was unbelievable. And I know that sooner or later we're going to have a joint event, because I do not believe, like some other people believe, that when organizations like ours join at an event that we're going to poach. I'm not there to poach. I'm there to help our small business owners meet new people that would hopefully improve their business. And that's what it's all about. If somebody wants to get involved in Greater Kendall Business Association, God bless them. If they want to get involved in ChamberSOUTH, God bless them.
Yep.
There's overflow in all of our organizations, and I think that both you and I know that.
Yep, absolutely. Rick, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
I guess you and I need to say something.
I think we do.
We need to talk today.
I think we need to talk to some people.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us, and we'll be back real soon. And we're back. We're back on Open Mic. We're here again at Community News Meet and Greet, and anything can happen. What just happened? Well, somebody else came in here to be interviewed, and this is Danai. Give us your full name, Danai, because I'm not going to try to pronounce your both last names.
Danai Rodriguez Arritol.
Okay. Thank you very much for being here, Danai.
Thank you for having me.
And what is it that you do?
I am the Chief Nursing Officer at Larkin Community Hospital, Palm Springs Campus.
And what does a Chief Nursing Officer do?
We are responsible for all the clinical care of all the patients. We're responsible for carrying doctor's orders. We're actually nurses. What are we? The doctor's eyes and ears to what's going on with the patient. So we have a lot of responsibility. I'm responsible for writing policies, processes, protocols, and carrying them out, and making sure that our hospital is in compliance with all the governing bodies.
So were you a nurse at some point? Are you a nurse?
I've been a nurse for 20 plus years. I'm actually a nurse practitioner, and I have a doctorate in nursing.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
And how did you learn the administrative part of this job?
You start off as a nurse and you start doing like charge nurse, A&M, director. So I've been a director of many different departments. Then you become an ACNO, an assistant chief nursing officer. And in time, when there's a chance, you apply and you become the chief nursing officer.
What are some of your most critical challenges right now?
The most critical challenge, I think, for all CNOs is keeping our patients safe, making sure that we're giving good care, standard of care, making sure that our staff understands how important it is to be empathetic, to understand. I think healthcare right now is going through a lot of different transformations because there's a lot of changes in, standard of care and what you're doing for the patient. So I think for me, my biggest concern is making sure that we're providing the best care for our patients.
Yeah. You said something at the very beginning that you are the doctor's eyes and ears. To me, unfortunately, I've been in the hospital, and to me, the nurse is more important than the doctor, because the doctor, if you're lucky, you're going to see him, let's say after you have surgery or something like that. And you are the ones on the front line. You are the ones that, comfort the patients. So I really have all kinds of respect and admiration for nurses. What I expected to hear from you as far as your most critical challenge, I hear this all the time, and not just in nurses, is staffing. Is staffing a critical issue right now, or is that more or less kind of leveling off?
We're actually doing very well with staffing. We are growing a lot as an institution, and the only issues that we're having is bringing in staff as our programs grow. But our retention is very good. I spend a lot of time uplifting all of my staff. I think that if you appreciate, and we need to understand how important our lower staff is, and it's not even your lower staff. We need to understand that they are the legs that we stand.
Mm-hmm.
I always tell everybody, I am not successful. My staff makes me successful. They're believing in my mission and wanting to go through with it is what makes me successful. So I spend a lot of time, uplifting them. I want to celebrate everybody's birthday. And I'm just not talking about my directors. I'm talking about my frontline nurses, my respiratory therapists, my lab tech, everybody. Everybody in the institution needs to feel that they are as valuable as they are for what they stand for. And we could not do anything without them. So I think a lot of people are maybe disheartened because they don't feel important enough, or they don't feel like maybe upper management realizes how important they are. I spend a lot of time on that. So our retention is actually very good right now.
Those are really refreshing words. And thank you for joining me. Our time is up. Thank you for listening in, watching, and we'll be back real soon.
Thank you.
And we're back to open mic. We're here at a meet and greet. Lots of great guests here today. And as I said before, just about anything can happen here. You might get yanked out of the crowd to do an interview. And we did just that. Welcome, Road Charles. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing great. So you have a very interesting business. But before we talk about your business, let's learn a little bit about you, because people love to do business with people they know, like, and trust. So tell us about Road.
What about Road?
Where are you
So
from?
nervous. I grew up in North Miami.
Okay.
My entire family is there. Very tight community, like very, very small. I have uncles that are 10 minutes away. I have a cousin that's like 5 minutes away driving distance, and I'm over at her place all the time. We're constantly together, which is a little bit too much. I have a small dog. Her name is Summer. She is the love of my life. So no children. I have two younger sisters.
Okay.
And we all have pets. So my mom is asking us for grandchildren, but we're like, we have pets. These are your babies now. So I have a dog. She's the love of my life, and I enjoy hiking. I lived in California during the pandemic. I know I was crazy, but it was one of the best times of my life. I enjoyed being outdoors. I was constantly outside. I never watched TV. I feel like I'm rambling, but that's a little bit about me.
That's excellent.
Yeah.
So hence the name Brentwood Organizers, yes. Right?
Yeah.
You lived in Brentwood, beautiful area. So tell me about your business. I think it's really unique.
Home organizing. We come into people's homes. It's more like a therapy session, you can say, because we're decluttering, we're clearing out the space for people. We're helping them figure out what to keep, what to donate, what to toss. And it alleviates a lot of stress, but we focus on helping people downsize. So whether they're, going from a 5-bedroom home, that they were living in for 40, 50 years to a 2-bedroom condo or an assisted living, we come in and we help alleviate the stress for the family members. We figure out what can be kept, because you don't need everything that you've been holding on to. Things that are essential, something as simple as, having the paper towel roll right next to the sink, or putting all of your coffee mugs right next to the coffee maker. So stuff like that. So that way, when you wake up in the morning, you need to get something from your closet. Everything is either by category or color coded, so you know what you're needing. You don't have to look for it. Same thing with the kids' toys. We put them in bins. Everything is labeled. So everything is organized. And then I also work with an auctioneer. So if there's anything that the family could get back or, get compensated for, the auctioneer handles that. But if the auction can't take place on the premises because of HOA laws, then we pack up the stuff and then the auctioneer come and pick it up. And a little bit piggyback, we also do unpacking services. So when someone moves into their home, we come in, unpack, take everything out of the boxes, and we organize in the process.
Great. So Road, last thing, if somebody wants to call you to organize their life, where do they reach you?
They call me directly. My phone is 786-908-6504, or they can go to the website, which is brentwoodorganizers.com, and just let me know that you're looking for an organizer and I'm your person.
Great. And thank you for being a member of Profit Inc. Also.
Yes, I love it.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, see, that was painless.
I'm like sweating everywhere.
Thank you for watching, and we'll be right back.
Thank you, Carlos.
Hey, we're back. Yes, we're back here at Open Mic. It's a meet and greet. We have two new guests that I dragged in here. He happens to be my chiropractor, my confidant, and most of all, my friend. Dr. Cesar Devet, or Cesar Devet, I should say. I'm sorry, Cesar Devet. How's it going?
Good. How's everything with you?
And who is this young lady next to you?
Oh, this is Miss Annie, who is the lymphatic division at Devet Family Chiropractic.
Okay.
So now it's the DeBam section.
Okay.
Devet and Moret, because she's Annie Moret.
Okay, I like it.
Yeah,
I like it. What's new in chiropractic?
What's new in chiropractic? Well, chiropractic is all about the body. So the body hasn't changed.
Okay.
What's new is the understanding that we have to stretch. We have to keep moving. If anything stays still long enough, it's going to get locked up. It's going to start getting bad, like our lymphatic system, right? So everything starts blocking up. Most people don't know that the fibrocystic breast is all lymphatic.
Okay.
Right? So you come into our office, we do lymphatic drainage, and you know what? Everything starts working better. So those fears of having the fibrocystic breast that will turn into something else keeps it all moving, and then that way you don't have any problems that will turn into the other name.
Okay, so I just have to bring this up because I was treated with something that did wonders called the Shockwave.
Shockwave.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, it's awesome. The Shockwave being new to my office. They have different names for it, you know, stem wave, shockwave. I have the Shockwave. It works.
What is it?
It is an air compression inside the cylinder that hits your skin and shoots the wave through your body.
Okay.
It breaks up some of the like light arthritis that you have.
Okay.
The old muscle locked because, you know, we got injuries, we have operation, all those tight things. It creates nano tears. So these little nano tears that locked in before the body could completely heal, it creates this new injury, which is so minute, but the body thinks it's a big thing. So now you have a new chance to regenerate and fix that old section. Can I tell him about you quickly?
Sure.
His operations on his knees were 20 years old on one and 30 years on another. And after one treatment, he can do a full squat. You know, I tell him, he tells me the next day, Carlos, how was it? He said, like, how are you feeling? He says, great, man, I worked out. Like, Carlos, you were supposed to work out. He goes, well, I did, and it felt great. All those things were great. Annie had a hip issue that was nagging her. She couldn't go up the stairs. It just onset. It's a muscle tightness that doesn't get rid of. Well, you know, we can get rid of that in a couple sessions. You know, yours is, you know, kind of freaky because, you know, it was one time, but, you know, It takes 3 to 6 sessions.
Well, I'll be back.
Yeah, I know you will. And it all keeps getting better.
So, Annie, you are also a PA, correct?
Yes, I am.
Okay. And how did you, besides him twisting your arm, how did you develop this passion for treating lymphatic issues?
Well, I mean, he brought me into it with issues of myself. I started recognizing how, you know, the lymphatic system is so overlooked and how it can affect so many different aspects of your body. And basically, if you can have the oil working well in your machine, everything else falls into place. So it's more about wellness than it is about illness and preventing illness. So if you can just get things to work properly and facilitate the movement so you don't get the lymphatic, not clogs, but it's a sluggish lymphatic system, let's say. Let's say in illness, you know, I've had patients with, you know, strep or whatever, and they have like the tender lymph nodes. If you can drain that, not that you're going to cure them of what they have,
right? But
you're going to let the body heal itself quicker. And let whatever medication they're taking heal them quicker. But it basically facilitates healing.
Okay.
And wellness.
Dr. C, last words. How do they get in touch with you to get your killer services?
05-238-2310. 05-238-2310.
Thank you, Dr. C. Thank you, Annie. And thank you for joining us once again to Open Mic. We'll be back. Thanks for sticking around. This could be our last interview. So we're back here at Open Mic. It is a meet and greet where you might just get pulled in from the crowd for an interview. And that's exactly what we do. Thank you for being here. Tell us a little bit about yourself before we talk about your business.
Thank you for having me. Good afternoon. This is Vic Kruglak. I've been in the community for 44 years.
Okay.
How long I've been married to my wife, Karen. And we have triplets. They're just turned 40 years old.
Triplets?
Yeah, 2 boys and a girl. Wow. So we're part and parcel of this community. We're very involved in our organization. And we run Bitolam Tours and TravelWishlist.com. We're a personal concierge to worldwide travel. Curate travel for groups, for individual, for small group, for honeymoon, for bar mitzvahs, and we do the world from A to Z worry-free.
So what makes you different from the travel agent down the corner?
Because we are not order takers. We create and curate the trips from A to Z. There's many moving parts in the organizing a trip. And we've got many people like attorneys, very sophisticated people that come to us because you go down the computer, it's like a rabbit hole, and it's very frustrating. Mm-hmm. And they come to us to put everything in a package, from the flights, from the transfer, from the hotels, from the touring. It makes it easy. That's why they come to us, and we're very, very busy. As a matter of fact, we've got 2 groups this year. Sorry, one of them going to Iceland at the end of July.
Is that a good time to go?
Yeah, it's not.
Do they have winter and summer there, or no?
Yes, they do, but July is a good time to go. And
okay.
Very nice weather. We went last year, and we're so excited about it. That's why there's this group this end of July 28th, and it's circumnavigating the island, and it's beautiful. We already have 10 people.
So is this a cruise or?
It's a cruise.
Okay.
But we also have land component inside.
Okay. And where does the cruise ship leave from?
From Reykjavik, Iceland.
Okay.
So you have to fly there from Miami to Newark or Boston, and then fly to Reykjavik.
Mm-hmm.
It's about 4-hour drive. So it's not that far, a 4-hour flight.
Right. Okay.
And it's not that far from the main coast of USA. So that's one of them. Then we have a group going on the Danube, the end of October, mm-hmm. Vienna, Budapest, Prague. And if you didn't try river cruise, it's really different experience than ocean cruise. It's much smaller. As a matter of fact, the one in the Danube is about 160 people. The one in Iceland is a small ship, only 300 people.
Okay.
All suites, everything is included except the tours, but the Wi-Fi,
right.
Specialty restaurants, the tips, everything is included. And then we have land tours we organize as well. If you want to go, we have a family that's going to Italy. So we do everything from the time the land being picked up, put on the train or a transfer, and going to Venice, different places.
So I guess that gives you comfort because if you get to a country you don't know, is this really a taxi? Is this?
And that's why they come to us. We have a couple going to South Africa on a safari. It's their honeymoon. And we curate everything. And the first thing we usually ask, you have a passport ready? And people say, oh no, my passport expires. So that's the first thing we ask, mm-hmm. is the passport. And many people don't know it. They've already planned the trip and then the passport is expired or it's only got less than 6 months. And the rule is you
have to be more than 6, right?
6 months.
So let me ask you this, because I think if I'm right, that things have changed with the European Union. Do you now need a visa to go to?
Well, they postponed it. I think.
Oh, they did
postpone it.
So we can go to the EU with no problem.
That's right. But if you go to England and you just do a transfer there, you don't need it. But in England, you need a new kind of visa.
Okay.
When you go to England.
Only England? Like if I want to go to Spain or Italy? No problem.
Not yet. It's supposed to be this year. They postponed to next year. I think maybe in 2027. Right. So we know all the rules. We know all the president, vice president of all the cruise lines or land tours. So we have special connection and special deals and so we can take care of you when you cannot do it on your own. And we always answer the phone. That's our pride. We answer the phone, the email, the text. You don't just call a toll-free number every time you get somebody else. It's a personal concierge service, and that's what makes it different. That's why we're so busy. We've got one group, another group. We've got the couple going on honeymoon. We've got a family going to Italy because they want to do business with us because we provide the service.
Okay. So if somebody wants to get, our time is up. If somebody wants to get in touch with you, how do they do that?
Well, they can go on our website, bitolamtour.com or travelwishlist.com.
Okay.
Or they can call my phone number, 305-898-1827. Again, 305-898-1827. Or go on our website.
Thank you, Zvi.
Thank you.
Very interesting. And we'll be back. Maybe, I don't know if we're done here yet, but we're going to find out soon. Thanks for tuning in.
Thank you.
Thank you for sticking around. Yes, this is Open Mic. at Meet and Greet here at Community News. And now we're here with the Michael Miller. And this is the post-game interview. We're going to ask Michael, what happened here today? Michael, what went on?
It was great. We had people from Greater Kendall Business Association, from Profit, and from ChamberSOUTH, plus people that we know. It was a full house over here. We shared stories. We talked a lot about Autism Awareness Month, very moving subject for me. And we had some folks from the University of Miami, Rabbi Yossi Harlig with Friendship Circle, and the Miracle League representative, Ken Fairman, who is, it's a baseball league for kids on the spectrum. And it was great, and great to see a lot of people. And you were interviewing people throughout the whole thing.
No, not me.
And it was really fun because we were watching it streaming live on Facebook and YouTube and on our website. And people could watch it in our brand new studio here, and they could see it. So we're very excited about that.
Excellent. You know, it never ceases to amaze me that here we have some unbelievable organizations, just the ones that attended here today, and there are a lot more that deal with special needs kids, special needs people, but there's still such a great need out there.
Yes.
Unbelievable.
And when, as I mentioned, I really sort of learned this awareness about autism from Rabbi Yossi Harlig and the Friendship Circle. And it was a slow indoctrination into it. And I was, so fortunate and blessed that he never pushed it, but it was that conversation. What I learned from him and Raquel Gonzalez, which is you got to give them a seat at the table. And so I hope today that some people, when they go home, they're going to pay a little bit more attention to try to help the kids.
Yeah. And I think it obviously it goes beyond the household. It goes to the schools, to whatever activities they're involved with. That's a great way to put it, a seat at the table, because as we know, some of these kids are made fun of, they're disrespected, just because they're different.
So speaking about different, last night was the first time the three chambers, Palmetto Bay, Pinecrest, and Greater Kendall Business Association, got together. So tell us about that.
It was a great event, and I think Grant covered it and covered it very well. It was kind of just impromptu. Hey, let's do an event together. We did so at Fogo de Chao in Dadeland, in downtown Dadeland. They were very accommodating. Those appetizers were delicious and just kept coming.
I like that.
The drinks were flowing, and I think everybody had a great time, and everybody made new connections there.
And I think that's important. And we know each of the chambers, for the most part, it's the same people week after week. But in this case, the three people that got together, especially members of GKBA, they got to meet a whole bunch of people that they normally wouldn't. So Did some people talk to you about that?
Yes, absolutely. It was, for some of these people, like you said, they stay in those circles. They talk to the same people. And I saw a lot of smiling faces, a lot of people talking to people they didn't know before. And there was a lot of collection of business cards. So
I think there was a aha moment, all right, last night when you were there and say, look at that. Just by bringing people together, you can help those people. So your next meeting at GKBA, there's going to be a whole conversation going on. What Carlos was arranged, all right? And I mean that in all sincerity, that there is new dawn for these three business clubs. And by working together and trying to make it the South End of Miami-Dade County a better place.
Absolutely. And we're looking forward to it. So I think we're done, Michael. Believe it or not, I think our day is done also.
I think so. I'm ready to go home.
All right.
I want to thank Rochelle.
Rochelle, the producer with the mostest.
Okay. And we have Alex over there who's been here since about 9 o'clock this morning.
And we have Ivan in the studio audience.
Ivan from Contemporary. Contemporary is a senior citizen housing.
Yep. He wouldn't say it that way, but okay.
And with medical offices on the bottom.
Yes.
Okay.
All right.
That's perfect. I mean, when you get to be your age, that's what,
they have people younger than me there. Okay. So,
all right. So anyway, thanks so much for today and for everything you do for the community.
I appreciate you, Mike. Thank Michael. Thanks for everything Community News does for us, for the associations, and for this county.
Okay. Terrific. Thanks, folks.
See you next time.
Have a good time. Bye.